everybody, it's Lainey here from Penny Pot Cottage. If you are new, then welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, I can't say that word, if you're returning, thank you very much for coming back to see us again. Basically excuse everything today, so the hair, because I've been out in the barn trying to sort some of my table display out, the sunlight because it's coming in, the mess behind me because I've been trying to sort my stock out, and I've been putting it onto the bed and then taking it off the bed and then putting it in the bags. And if you can hear noise in the background, it is the Basset. He is digging on the carpet, which he likes to do, and then he lays down. So all of that, just excuse it. It is what it is. So I'm just sitting here now, and I am tagging up. I keep looking over here because I've got some stock over there, and I am tagging them. So I am gonna have to go behind my curtain. I've just been lint rolling them to get the fluff etc off, and I've written my little tags out, and I am now busy tagging them all up so that they can go on my table and be all legal and compliant for the UKCA regulations, which we have here in the UK. So sorry, I just noticed that, just being childish there. That looked a little bit rude. Sorry about that. Yeah, so there you go. Oh, he's upside down. She, it's upside down. Yeah, so little ratty. So I've made loads of those. I've popped them all in the bag, here, look, just to keep them clean, because I like to do white. I like to do a lot of white actually on my rats. I can never get them the right way round when they're just, yeah, I like to do quite a lot of white, and I know that white is going to look at this one. I love, in real life, I'm afraid I'm not a rat fan, probably because when you've got animals, there's always rats around, and there's quite a lot of danger that they can present to rats one way or another. That rats can, I'll start that again, shall I? Rats can be quite dangerous to lots of other animals that are around, by way of diseases and etc. Yeah, just diseases, and they cause quite a lot of havoc and damage to properties. But domestic rats, I know, are entirely different kettle of fish. So I quite like making these little guys. They're really cute, and people do seem to like them, because last time I made some, they all sold out. I think I made 4 to take, then I made another one in the evening, and then I made one while I was at the show, and they all sold. So anyway, I've made some more, quite a few more this time. This little guy here, and I do them quite simple. So the tails are always pink, the feet are always the little pads, the ears are pink, and the nose, I know I've shown you these before. The pattern is Cubie Crochet, I think it's called, so I'll put that in the description below. It's a really nice pattern, and I use snug, and I have tightened my tension. So for these guys, I actually managed to use an 8mm hook, and they still passed the testing when I retried the poke test, and they're fine. So I was really pleased with that, because it means they come out bigger, and I think that looks really nice. So yeah, so hello. Yeah, so these guys, there you go. I've got some other bits which I'll just grab and then show you, and be right back. This is what I take to my markets. I take these huge bags, and I tend to stuff them really full. So I'll just go into this one. So get into it in a minute. Whew. So I think I've showed you before the different style of kitties that I've been making, cats, and I really like them. These guys, really like the size, the shape. They work up quickly, and I don't know, I just really like them. So, and they're just a little bit different, so I obviously will always be doing the loaf cats, the loaf dogs, etc. But yeah, these are, I just really love them. I think they're quite cool. So I've been making lots of those. So therefore I extended that to making some different animals. So here we've got a giraffe. He's all tagged up and ready to go in that bag. And we have a cappy with his orange on his head. And we have, this is supposed to be a hamster, but the nose isn't right, so I think it's going to have to be a mouse with his huge ears and a little tail. Get out of the way. Look, a little tail. I know, a mouse. I know mice have really long tails, but because I was still in denial that it might be a hamster, I did a small one, and I just thought, you know what, he can just be what anybody wants him to be. So if I want to make him a mouse with a short tail, that's what I'm going to do. So there's mouse. And then this one. Okay, I need you to vote on what you think this might be, because and it's coming out so crooked on camera. She's so not that crooked in real life. That's silly. If you can see any fluffy bits, I will get those off. I mean, I have lint rolled them, but the fluff was. So anyway, tell me what you think it might be. So we have little pads on the paws. This is meant to be like tummy colour, a little bit of blush, a snout, but I don't know if it's called a snout, ears. Comment below what you think it might be, because my family walked in and went, oh, that's a really nice, and I said, it's not meant to be that. But honestly, if anybody comes up with a whole load of cash and says, I want to buy that, and it's what everyone else thought it was, I'm not going to turn it down. And this one, I love this one. This one's so cool. He's so cool. I love his little feet. Yay. Oh, I think you can see. He's just so good, isn't he? Little frog prince. So those are my new ones. And oh, I've got new nails because I am going to a Caribbean themed family fun day. That's my next event. So I said to my daughter, don't know what to have done. What should I have done? She said, what's your event? I said, Caribbean family fun day. And then at the same time as her, we messaged each other saying, I know, tropical palm trees. So that's the design that my nail lady came up with, and I love them. And then this guy is going to sit on the stall. He will have a price tag of 45, so I don't expect to sell him. But really he's there just to say, if you would like one yourself, I will do yours in your colours. But they will be 45 because they do take quite a long time and there's a lot of yarn. So I've decided to put 45 on him, and we'll see. I'd say I don't expect him to sell necessarily, but I have been asked for horses quite a lot, and I've always said that horses were coming and might be available. So this way, yes, I like doing them and I'd be more than happy to do any for a commission, but I don't know that I would personally want to sit and make loads of them for market in the hope that they'd sell. So if I'm fortunate enough that he sells at 45, then I will happily make another one to replace him on the stand. And if he doesn't, then he can literally sit there and do his job, which is with a big sign on saying, if you like yours, you know, you can commission your own. But yeah, so he's going to go in the bag, but not necessarily the expectation of being sold. I think that's it for no, I've got some small ones which I'll show you, so hold on, back in a minute. Right, so I don't normally do really small things because I'm quite slow at crocheting, and I just find that it takes me almost as long to do something small as it does to do some of the bigger ones. And particularly with these, so I used a pattern, I bought a pattern from PawgysPlace, the Little Critters pack, and I'll link it below, but I didn't use it in its entirety. I used it enough for me to want to give credit to them, to PawgysPlace, because without them putting up the putting up the pictures of what theirs looked like, and some I took in a lot of inspiration from it, even if I didn't follow the pattern exactly. So yeah, I'm still going to give them credit, even though I freehanded a lot, and then perhaps I looked up how they did their ears or what the size for the tails or something should be. I don't know. So yeah, just some little mini ones really. So in fact, actually, I'll tell a lie, the first two were for their Little Critters pack. This was a little this is a pug from the pug pattern, so that one is in its entirety, and so is this next one coming up, I think. Yeah, so those two were both actually done as per the pattern. And then these, I decided I liked those, but they were actually a little bit small, because I'm going to charge £10, and I don't feel I'm going to put £10 on these, but I almost feel that somebody would look at that and think it's not worth it, because it's really not very big. But I don't want to charge less than 10 because of the time it took me, and although there's not a lot in cost of materials, it's mainly the time. So that's those so I did those two, but I was a little bit unhappy about how small they came out. So then I went through the pack and picked out some of the other animals that I really liked, and I made a little panda, but the panda I freehanded. So still using their pack, PawgysPlace, as inspiration. I hope I'm saying that right, PawgysPlace. I'll link it below. So still using their pack as inspiration, but just basically sort of doing my own pattern, or using their pattern but doing my own stitch count, etc. So a little tiger. This is my favourite, but this one took me ages just because I was really trying to figure out where I wanted all the markings to go. I mean, he's not perfect, but again, he's only going to be £10, so somebody's either going to love him or they're not going to love him. And these are just going to be ones that whenever I do a market, when the mood takes me, I'm just going to make 5 or 6, because whatever happens, if I just sell those, then that's probably paid at least for my stall. Because sometimes you have to look at it like that. You have to look at it and think, well, if it's really bad, like if the weather's bad, or if it's just really not a very good event, you want something just to make your stall money back. But as I say, these little guys, they take me quite a while, so I kind of, when the mood takes me, I can sit there and make a few, but I can't even make loads of those in a day like I see a lot of people do. So yeah, that's probably just me. My mind wanders, I begin to think about something else. My daughter usually messages me pictures of the baby, and of course I can't not look at those, and I know that's probably what I should do, but I can't, because I'm a mum and I'm a ninny, and that's part of what I do. So I'm always going to look at those photos and pictures and videos and answer. So this one, I'd never used this colour before, and I bought it and I really wanted to use it and just didn't really know what to use it for. So look, So he's not really obvious on screen, but he's a manatee, and in real life he looks okay, but he just looks a bit of a funny shape on screen. But anyway, yeah, I really love that colour. So him, and then one more, a grey manatee. And actually the manatee, I did use the pattern properly. The only thing I changed is I've decided not to use safety eyes, apart from the very first little pug. I use safety eyes, but I decided not to, because again, I'm not going to sell them for very much. They're going to have to be about £10 if I can get away with £10. So I'm just, and I don't want people to buy these instead of the big ones. These are pocket money. So, you know, if a little person comes up and wants to spend their pocket money, and perhaps their parent, guardian, whatever, needs to top them up, it wouldn't be too much. So that's really just so that, yeah, so there's a little bit sort of for everybody. But really, I want to sell the big stuff, and I would like to do the commissions, and I feel that if I offer too many of the small things, and if there's no incentive, or if there's no difference in buying the big or the small, just the size, then it might be a little bit more tempting to buy the small ones. So if I make the big ones with the safety eyes, if I make them with so like the one I just showed you with the frog, the cappy, the one that you're going to comment below as to what you think it might be, all of those, and they've all got a different element, might make them a little bit more attractive. So that's my theory anyway, so we'll see on that. And I think that's it, because this box here is all ones that I showed you last time. They're the these ones, and I just need to sit and roll them really, so that's not terribly exciting. So the Caribbean Fun Day is this coming Sunday. So today's Sunday the 15th of June. It's Father's Day. Steve's been up with our daughter and granddaughter, having he stayed the weekend, and he went out for lunch with them today. We can't unfortunately go together because we have commitments back home, and responsibilities back home. One of them is lying on the bedroom floor down there, and it's not my mum, it is the Basset. So we don't go together. So he's gone up there now, and he's on his way back now. So it's Father's Day. He's gone out had a nice lunch with them, and last week she surprised me by turning off on the doorstep on Wednesday night. I was in bed, there was a knock on the door, the dogs were going mad, and I did the sensible thing. When you live in the country, you don't go downstairs and just randomly open the door and go, oh hello. You lean out the window and say, who's there? And this voice said, Mum, it's me, you're gonna let me in? And she'd come down with the baby, stayed for a long weekend. So it was a complete surprise. We got to do some really lovely things. I got to be on hand with baby for the whole weekend, doing feeds and bath times and nappy changes and clothes changes, and holding her as much as I possibly could. And then on the Friday night, as another surprise, my son and his girlfriend turned up. So we had the whole lot here. Chloe's boyfriend couldn't make it down because he had to work. But you know, otherwise it was pretty much a full house, and it was absolutely lovely and exhausting and the most fun ever, and I loved it. So I didn't get very much crochet done that weekend either. But you know, I'm going to take that every single time. So I think I've got enough anyway. I've still got stock, always got stock left over from previous markets, and then I just make stuff and add to it as I go along. I've had a few commissions which I can't share with you at the moment, hopefully next time. And I have made some things which I've sent off to the shop. Now the shop in Bovey Tracy, which I was a bit skeptical at, because I didn't think that my target audience would go in there, but actually I have sold 3 items. hang on, sorry about that, I'm back now. Yes, so anyway, so Emma, who runs Pom Stitch Tassel in Bovey Tracy, she sold 3 of them, so I'm really pleased, really amazed. So I have sent her a few more things to see how well they'll go down, seeing as they seem to be all right, and the price point, even though they were a bit more expensive than they'd be at the shows because of the way that the commission works out, I need to charge a little bit more for them, but they sold. I mean, I know 3's not a lot, but in all honesty, that's 3 more than I thought. It's a lovely shop. It's mainly a workshop venue for, I would say, smaller children. I think that's probably fair to say. Emma does a lot of little kits like pom-pom, well, it's called Pom Stitch Tassel. Lots of small pom kits and some sewing classes, I think, and the children go there in the school holidays and have, I don't know if it's a morning or an afternoon, and make things. So a lot of her kits are very much geared towards younger, sort of, I suppose, school age children, middle school maybe, and I certainly didn't think that anything that was, you know, 20 to 25 pounds would be something that somebody would just kind of go, oh, I know, while my child's here having a workshop, I'll buy something. But they did. So I've sent her a few more bits and pieces, and I'll put pictures up because I haven't got any videos of them. I don't think I took any videos, but I will put some pictures up, and let me know what you think of the style, because I'm in 2 minds. I like them. I found them more difficult to do because you make 2 legs. If I put a picture up here in a minute, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So you make 2 legs and then you crochet those into the body, and my brain just finds that really hard to cope with. So it takes me a lot longer to do than, say, these guys. And even though I still sit there with the pattern, that's more of a security thing, because I know which round I'm on and I know what to do, and I know when the increases and the decreases are. But just for, if you like, security reasons, for my own like security in my head, I'll still sit there with the pattern, but I'll just freehand the colours and all that sort of thing. Whereas this is very much, you have to stick to the pattern, and I don't know, I really like them, but I find them a bit more difficult, therefore they take a lot longer. I feel that they come out a little bit smaller, so therefore I can't charge as much, although the work is a lot more. Don't know, what do you think? I love the hamster one. That's my favourite. I love the hamster, and he's the most difficult. I did him and thought, oh, I'm never doing one of those again, but I really liked him, but he was really difficult. I'm not a huge fan of chaining. I'd much rather do a magic circle, the magic ring. So a lot of these patterns you have to chain, like the facial features and that. I suppose it's just practice, and I suppose it's also because I've always started with a magic ring. When I first started amigurumi just over a year ago, I learned, like a lot of people, I learned off of YouTube mostly, and of course I followed all the big accounts out there, and they were all magic ring, so that's what I'm so comfortable with. Whereas the magic circle, chain stitch, gives me the willies. So I hate anything that's got chaining in it, even though I can do it and I have done it. The little manatees that I showed you earlier, they are all started with the chain, and I've done them and I did them fine. It's just not my favourite, and it's not quick, whereas magic circle is quick. I don't know. So I've just made those to put into the shop, and I won't really be able to gauge how well they will sell because the shop isn't somewhere that's going to be selling everything very quickly. I know that. And also Emma's cut her hours down because for her to open when the school-age children aren't around is a little bit pointless. So actually she's gone to a shorter week as well. So I won't be able to make any for this coming festival because I've got some orders to do and I've probably got enough stock. But I might try and make, I made the frog, I made the cappy, and I made the hamster. So maybe I'll try and make them again for another one and see how they go down. I don't know. I think it's because everybody just loves the Loaf Cats. And it's only in my head that I want to make something a bit different. And I keep saying to myself, why make something different if it's the cats that sell? Because the dogs do fine. And I always want to have dogs because it's a bit of a different angle on the cats. But it's kind of like, don't reinvent the wheel, isn't it? But sometimes I look at people using bright colours. I look at Lucy's bright fruits, her lovely little macarons or macaroons as she kept calling them, and I look at the bright colours, and she's got this fabulous octopi that she's doing. Now I don't want to copy her, and I know all these patterns are out there, so we're all free as crocheters, we're all absolutely free to buy the pattern, sell whatever we like. But her and I sort of have the same stance, if you like, that if we were going to go to a show where we were going to be together, then she doesn't take her cats because primarily that's what I do. And if I did make any of the say the octopus and that, then I wouldn't take mine because that's what, you know, she's got a whole army of the octopus and they're fantastic. So I wouldn't do that because you know, community over competition and all that. So I wouldn't step on her toes, and she's really lovely and kind and said she wouldn't do the same for me. So but I do look at them and think, oh yeah, such scrummy colours and some of the really bright things that she makes. So sometimes I get a little bit of colour envy. I mean, you can see the colours. Look, I have branched out, got some colourful things up there. Partly because I'm doing an event at the end of August for Pride, so I want to make these little guys and the Loaf Cats and put some really bright colours in, like for the Pride flag. So that's why I bought them, those colours. I bought a whole load of Toasty from a local yarn shop in Holsworthy, and I've already had to replenish the green, and I've used most of the blue because I got a little bit carried away with making some of these. But yeah, I don't know, because, you know, at the end of the day, I've got to sell what I make, and the more I sell, the more yarn I can buy, which is just such a lovely thing to be able to do. I've got to buy some more actually, because I don't know if you can see me. Can you see? Look, I've got some gaps. I've got gaps, and now that's the last of the, oh, what's it called? It's not Sandy Camel. It's one that Cookie, it might be Cookie. Anyway, it's the very light coloured one, and I use that a lot for Labradors and other things. Must be a lot of things because I've used it. Yes, I do need to do some more. I do need to order some more. Right, I'm gonna have to go because hubby's just come in and I haven't seen him all weekend, and it would be nice to go and see him. And I've got to finish these guys off, pack them in the bag. So I'll catch up with you later. See you soon. Take care. Lots of love. Bye. Morning, everyone. Don't adjust your set. My face really is this red colour. I am so hot. It's unreal. It's about 1,000,000 degrees here. I'm not even exaggerating. So it's very, very hot. I'm sitting in our back room, which is kind of like a work space. It's got the printer, it's got extra craft bits, but not my yarn. My yarn I keep upstairs and then just bring it down and sit in the front room when I want to crochet. Partly because this room is so hot. It's basically a conservatory. It's got a plastic roof, so it's so hot that I couldn't sit here and work all day anyway. But the lighting's quite good, and I do find that I can put my camera up on my tripod-y thing. You know, the ones I think they used to be called gorilla stands. They're bendy, so you can move them around and out of shape. Anyway, I've got somewhere I can actually fix it out here, so that's why I've stuck you up there. So just a very quick bit today, which I will insert into the video, another video at some point, so you'll see it then. But I've just got a very exciting yarn haul, so let me show you the size of the box. I can't even lift it. So here you go. Can you see how huge that is? So now I need to just find my scissors. Oh, they're behind the camera. Hello. House own brand, so I can't buy in any shops, so I'd love to support the local shops, but it's their own brand, and so I can't. And although I will say, disclaimer, I think I've ordered some toasty. No, I might not have done. If I did, it's because if I'm paying for the postage anyway, then if I do use toasty, I can get that from some of our local shops, so that's not quite so bad. But yeah, so actually no, I think it is all snug, having said that. So let me see what we've got. So oh, I forgot to say no organza bags again. I feel really terrible because I try to use them, try to find uses for them, but I don't need them, so I do try and remember to tick that box, and I completely forgot. So I have some standard white. I always order white. I've got loads of balls of white, but I've ordered some anyway. I have got the sandy camel, which is this colour. I use that a lot, and it's one of the reasons I placed such a big order this time, because I'd run out. I had also run out of this one, which, oh, I just realised, I think, oh no, I thought they'd actually put the name on the band, which they never do, so I can never remember what it is, but it's because it's coming in this bag and they've actually put Sandy Camel on the bag there. I wonder why I remember what it was so quickly. This one, it's not Cookie. Cookie's the one that Lucy is still holding for me, but I'm going to go and see her on Tuesday and collect that, so yay, can't wait for that. That'd be lovely, nice catch up. That's, I'm going to say oat milk. It's the very light coloured one, so I've got 3 of those, because again I use such a lot of that and I really was out of that. And then I'm in the middle of an order, so the reason I had to place this order in the first place is because I'm in the middle of an order and I completely ran out, and I mean completely ran out of this colour. This is, oh, please have a label, please have a label. Teddy bear, that's it. I don't ever feel that it should be teddy bear. I think this is more teddy bear to me. This is more of a traditional teddy bear. But that's Sandy Camel. I mean, it tracks, but that's more teddy bear to me. I would just call this chocolate or cappuccino or something if I wanted to be really fancy, but just chocolate. Anyway, so this is teddy bear, and I ordered 3 lots of those. So, oh, and I've just, oh look, I've literally just given myself a paper cut on the band. Ow, they're sharp, children. Keep away from children and 50-year-olds apparently. So I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go and wrap this because I do not want it getting onto any other of my yarn. Do you think that means I can't do any housework and cooking or anything tonight? Trouble is, if I go down that route, it also would really mean that I shouldn't do any crochet, shouldn't it? So that's not going to happen. Right, back in a minute. Okay, we're back, complete with plaster. Okay, so those were the natural colours, my Rocksteady Eddies, and then I got a couple of extra bits. So I got this one. Really not a colour that I ever use, but as I've said in a previous video, I am doing a Pride Festival at the end of August. I actually wasn't sure what colour this would come out. I thought it was going to be a bit more purpley, and it's kind of I don't know what you'd class it as, like a, I would say it's almost on the pink spectrum rather than purple. I can't, it might have been called Violet. No, it wasn't called Violet, I don't think. I honestly can't remember. If I remember, note to self, Lainey, look it up, and I might even have a delivery note in here, in which case I'll pick it up in a minute. Yeah, so it's not as purple, but I'll still have a use for it, because I'm starting to try and make things now with a little bit more colour, just because I personally get a bit bored of using. I love doing the natural animals, please don't get me wrong, and the fact that my customers like me to make their cats and their dogs and their horses, bang on. But sometimes, you know, I just like to have a little bit of colour in my own life. So having said that, here comes the black. Yeah, so of course good old black, and then I've been making some frogs recently and really enjoyed it. Still using my usual kind of patterns, the chonkiness, the chonky patterns, and sometimes I'll use a pattern for inspiration and then just make it into a frog instead. So I got this, which is the Lush Lime, and actually it's yum, it really is lush. So I think that's going to make some really nice frogs. So yeah, so I put all those back in their unwanted organza bag. I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again if anybody new here hasn't heard it. If you want any organza bags, please just drop me a message below and I'll arrange to send them out to you, because it's such a shame to not use them. But there's just only so many I can use, and I use them for putting stuffing in and all sorts. No, I haven't got a delivery. Oh, yes, I have. I've got a delivery note. I have got a delivery note. Yes, so I ordered black, which we saw. I ordered Snow White, which we saw. The teddy bear is the dark brown. The oat milk is the light colour. That one, that's the oat milk. Sandy Camel was the one that I said I felt looked more like teddy bear colour to me. Petal Purple. I mean, petal, yes. If you said to me, think of a petal colour, I probably would be thinking of that sort of darkish pinky hue. But anyway, I'm still happy and still fine with it. It's just that I'll probably buy some actual purple. And then Lush Lime. And all of that came to, say it quickly, actually it's not too bad, £82.82. I think that was with, yeah, so it was £82.82, but that was with the delivery of £4.95, and I paid for an overnight delivery because I really needed it quickly, because I'm in the middle of this order which I need to get out, so I can't do a subtotal. Anyway, 70 something pounds without the delivery. You can work that out. It was 20% off. No, it wasn't. That's the VAT. I'm really not great at maths. Maths is not my strong point. So basically all the balls were £5.99. So thankfully Yarnsmiths or Wool Warehouse had dropped it back down. They bounce the prices around all the time, and I guess it's to make you order when they've got a sale on. Tough luck. And even full price, I think it's £10.50 or £9.99 or £10.50. It depends whether you go for the solid colours or the spots and they're variegated yarns. So normally I think these would be $9.99, and even at that price for 300 grams, that works out to be quite good. And the price that I put on my items I get profit from, but obviously based on $5.99 a ball for 300 grams I get more. So that's when I like to buy it. And I was really disappointed because I wanted to get some colours the other day. I didn't need them, I didn't desperately need them, but I wanted to get colours the other day, and their prices had gone back up, and I just thought, no, not going down that route if they can't reduce them for me. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute, I'm buying it on sale, which makes me happy, but it's not up to them to put it on sale. You know, I'm not building my business around their sale price, am I? I should be building my prices around their full price, and then I get an extra win if it's on sale. But there you go. I'm rambling a bit now, but yeah, so I was very happy that they were all on sale. So each one was $5.99 for 300 grams, so I was really happy with that. I mean, if King Cole Toasty could match the weight or match the price, that would be fantastic, because theirs is $4.99 for 200 grams and Snug as a Bug is $5.99 for 300 grams if it's on the offer. But more than that, it's the colour range. Toasty just don't have much in the way of colours. It's all bright colours. There's a couple of muted colours, but it's not I couldn't just make all of my cats and dogs and natural coloured animals. I couldn't just use their range, but I could go and buy that range from a local shop, which would be nice. But until I can do that, so if anybody does know of anything that's comparable to Snug as a Bug, I haven't found it yet. I don't even find the burnout blanket, which again isn't stocked in the stores around here anyway. But that's not as thick. It's not the same as Snug. I like the real chunky as you can get. Well, not chunky as you can get. But it's, for me, it's a really good super chunky. Yeah, so anyway, so that's that. So I'll probably be back at some point with something else to tell you. Bye for now.